Greetings, friends, and welcome to Enigma Night Gaming. My name is Liara, and I will be your guide in today's adventure. Today, we are playing the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Now, in our last episode, we had investigated our neighboring cabin. We found out that it was a lady ballerina in disguise running away from the ballet company, but there's still secrets there, and we really need to find out those secrets so we can get to the bottom of this murder. So without further ado, let us hop in. Oh my goodness, thank you so much for the raid. Wow, welcome in, Chaos. Hey. Alright, 9th of January, SS Buria, first class cabin passageway. Alright. I wish we hadn't been thrown out like that. I wish we'd managed to find some clues as to what that speckled band might be. I still think it's a snake, by the way. We didn't manage to investigate at all. And I imagine... Oh yeah, he's not gonna let us back in. That we won't be able to for a while longer. We'll never get past that sailor guarding the door. He's clearly glaring at us, as is to say, don't even think about it. Oh, wait a minute. What is it? Well, what happened to our great detective friend? Where did he go? Oh, yes. He's completely disappeared. When did he do that? It was sometime when he put the handcuffs back on us? He slipped away as quietly as the wind, but not before ensuring these were securely back on my wrist. Thanks a lot for that. Appreciate that. Totally appreciate that. Alright, what can we examine out here? What is this? Ah, a trap for catching mice. Yes, we have plenty of those back home in Japan, although they seem to be using a lump of chalk or something as bait. Let me see. Yes, I think that's what is called cheese. It's made from the milk of cows. Do you know how cheese in Japan? Okay. Cheese. I wonder what that tastes like. It tastes amazing, so there you go. You can't eat it, Naruto-san. The trap will snap shut on your fingers. Really? But, I suppose you're right. You weren't actually going to try it, were you? All I've had to eat for the past couple of weeks is Kazuma's leftovers. You don't know how hungry I've been in that wardrobe. Poor you. I'll find a little snack for you later. Alright, so what else do we have? There's the fire alarm. Oh, we've already examined that. Yeah, we've already looked at that before. Blah, 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 blah. Skip that. Yeah, he's trying to set the alarm. Alright. I forgot. I didn't see the check mark. Whoopsie daisy. Alright. Come on. Past this. We've already seen that. Alright. What else do we have? I didn't mean to. I've investigated here thoroughly, but I can't find anything out of place. Is there anything over here that we haven't investigated? Well, we can look at this again, maybe. That book on top of the table there really is huge. There's a pen with it, too. Yes, I'm sure that's the ship's log. Shall we have a little look through it? Alright, anything interesting? Oh, we have read this. The writing is so neat and precise. Every detail about the voyage has been meticulously recorded. You wouldn't expect a rough and ready sailor to have such beautiful handwriting. Anyway, look here. Last night's log is mostly blank. Presumably that means there was nothing to report. Alright. What about this thing? Can we, is there anything we can see with that? Alright, so nothing out of place. That's the door we can't go out of. He'll be like, that door leads to the second class area, which we will thoroughly be beaten if we try. It's locked. I can't open it. No, well, that stands to reason. No one wants to let the murderer escape. Gosh, she gave me a very stern look when she said that. You still think we're the murderer? My goodness, why is this light out? Alright. What else do we have? Anything else? We can talk to you. Maybe you'll be friendly? Maybe? I really wish we'd had a chance to look around in Miss Pavlova's cabin. Me too. Stroganoff. What? Why you look like that? You want something? Let's see. Maybe. You want me to throw you out again, Oh, no, definitely not that. Next time I have to throw you out, I show you where lobsters spend winter. Understand? Understand? Alright. Maybe I should steer clear of him until he's forgotten my face. Good luck with that. I don't think he'll ever forget your face, Naruhodo-san. Yeah, I don't think so either. I think you're probably right about that. Well, I guess let's go back to our cabin, right? First class cabin number 1. Yes, that's our cabin. Not our cabin. It's Kazuma-sama's. Sorry? Your accommodation is confined to the wardrobe inside the cabin. You know how to make a stowaway feel small, don't you? As small as the wardrobe I've been calling home. Anyway, I wonder if Inspector Hosonoga has managed to uncover any new clues. Yes, we should probably find him and ask. Alright, so let's, I guess we're gonna have to move. Alright, we can't go back to the cabin. That one's off limits. Let's go back to Kazuma's cabin and see if we've found anything else out. Let's see. Back in our cabin. It looks like they're still investigating in here. Yes, on that subject. I wonder if Inspector Hosonaga is unscathed. What do you mean, unscathed? Surely you haven't forgotten, have you, Naruhodo-san? Don't you remember what he said about allowing you out of this cabin to investigate? He was going to talk to the captain about it. He said he'd lay his life on the line for you. Oh, yes. But I'm sure he was exaggerating. Let's see what he has to say for himself. He might have some new information for us. You never know. Is he gonna be in here somewhere? I mean, okay, well let's just talk to him, I guess. Oh, we'll just have to... Alright, let's talk to him. He looks beat up. Ah, you're back. Inspector? What happened to you? Your face is... Yeah, his glasses are broken, he's bruised. Please, don't worry about it. They're just scratches. Made by a bear, maybe? When I told the captain that I'd given you permission to investigate, he told me he'd pummel me with his fist and then toss me overboard. Well, he didn't. He just cut right to the chase then, didn't he? What? But the pummeling was over in a flash, and he must have decided against throwing me overboard. So it was nothing, really. It looks like he wasn't joking when he said he'd lay his life on the line if he had to. Goodness gracious. Well, thanks to your efforts, we now know a little about the neighboring cabin. Yes, so I understand. Oh. I bumped into a man claiming to be a great detective a little while ago. Was it the great Herlock Sholmes? You gotta remember the correct name. I think his name was something like Herlock Sholmes. I don't think he was German, though. Ah, that explains it. Shall we compare notes, then? We can tell you what we found out. Yes, let's do it. Alright. The cabin next door. What did we learn? What? Nikolina Pavlova? She's in the cabin next door? Oh, do you know who she is? Please, what self-respecting ballet fan wouldn't know that graceful angel? Poor guy. I feel like he's got a serious internal injury. Oops, I think I upset him there. Well, that tells us the neighboring cabin is unrelated to the case at least. But does it? Does it really? Oh, how? Because angels don't go around committing crimes, do they? Unless it was an accident, which is what I think it is. I think she has a snake. Oops, now I've definitely upset him. Inspector, has your investigation in here proved fruitful? Have we found anything in here? If I'm honest, there's very little more I can do. Our duty is to make sure the scene isn't disturbed, ready to hand over to the Hong Kong police. So I'm just keeping watch here, trying not to take my eyes off the job. Oh, I see. There is one thing. I do have a small piece of new information for you. Oh, what? Yes, do tell us, Inspector, please. What is this new information? I am dying of curiosity. What is this new information you have, Inspector? It's this. The bureau's medical officer has finished his examination of the body. I managed to obtain the report. Oh, Kazuma's post-mortem report? Well, that would be useful. Kazuma-sama. So, what was the cause of death? Come on, poison. Poison. Aw. Damage to the cervical vertebrae is what's written in the report. His neck was broken? Yes, it would seem so. There were no obvious wounds or other signs of injury, so at first I think they were considering poison. But it turns out they found no trace of poison in his system at all. Well, what weapon was used then? No weapon? Nothing has been found as yet, but the fact that there are no signs of a wound suggests it may have been a blunt object, something that wouldn't leave a mark. Oh, I see. All the body's nerves run through the spine to the brain. A strong enough impact to the neck could induce death. It is a possibility, and no obvious wound would be left. Poor Kazuma. I have a second copy of the report. If it might be useful, you're welcome to have it. Really? Are you sure? Yes, it's fine. I trust you. Alright. She's like, you trust him? Why would you trust him? He's a murderer. After all, if I didn't trust you, I'd never have agreed to you leaving this cabin in the first place, would I? That's a good point. Alright. You feeling guilty that you don't believe us there, Chica? Alright. The post-mortem report has been entered into the court record. Alright, so we need to check that out, I think, as soon as we can. The great detective, what about Herlock Sholmes? Oh, Mr. Sholmes was here, was he? Yes, he seemed to be enjoying himself a little too much as he crept on the floor investigating. But then he suddenly left. I suppose he must have become bored. Did he say anything at all? Actually, now that you mention it, yes, just one thing. But he practically shouted it. Did he talk about how great he was? It's shoe polish, was all he said. Shoe polish? I wonder what he meant. Wait a second. It was when he was over there, by the broken glass. Do you see? Huh? Perhaps he was talking about this brick-colored mark, do you think? That makes sense to me. Yes, that must be it. Alright, so it's shoe polish over there, okay. But how can Mr. Sholmes know that it's shoe polish? That leaves me cold, I'm afraid. I have no idea. Maybe his little machine was able to tell him? What is this, Asada-san? Well, Kazuma-sama was wearing leather shoes with a very dark tan hue. Dark tan, a sort of dark brownish red then. Yes, a little like the color of red wine, but darker. I often repaired them for him. Oh, does this mean that this mark was made by the polish on Kazuma's shoes as they scuffed on the floor? Alright, so a small glass object and what looks like a scuff mark made by Kazuma's shoes were found by the victim's body. Okay. What if it was completely an accident? What if... That's really all I can tell you at this stage. I should return to my host. My fellow crewmen's eyes are boring into the back of my head. Yes, that might be for the best. Thank you. What if, like, the ship lurched and he somehow, like, hit his head and snapped his own neck? Like, what if nobody killed him and it was a complete accident? Poor Inspector, you look exhausted. Oh, no, well, he is. I feel terrible that I failed to protect Osogi-san. He was my responsibility. She feels bad too. Of course, my pain is nothing compared to you. You were his friends. The truth is, I seem to have had a heavy head ever since I woke up this morning. A heavy head? That's interesting. My head's still throbbing too. Was there some kind of gas piped into the chambers from here? But why? It would have affected us because we were in the cabinet. Alright. What are we looking at? We can look at this again, I guess, see if there's anything new. So it's clear that these letters were written with the ink that was somehow spilt on the floor, and they spell the Russian word for wardrobe. It does seem to be an unambiguous pointer to you, Naruhodo-san, as you were sleeping in there. But to be truly unambiguous, it should have just spelt out my name, don't you think? Well, either way, one fact remains. It's hard to imagine that Kazama-sama would have written his last words, or word, in Russian. I mean, that's true. Which begs the question of who did write it. Alright. How about this ink? I've investigated thoroughly. Okay, nothing out of place. Let's look at this. It really is such a beautiful color, this glass. It looks like whatever it has broken clean in two. So where's the other half? The other half is nowhere to be seen. And then there's this brick-colored mark, which is shoe polish, according to that great detective you seem to know all about. Right. I suppose it must be from Kazuma-sama's shoes. Maybe, but what I'd like to know is, how can the detective be so sure it's shoe polish and not something else? Because he's a great detective, of course. That's hardly a reason, is it? Alright, what else do we have? We've looked in the trunk. Can we look over here now, or is she gonna throw us on our back if we try? This is where Kazuma spent his final moments writing in his diary. 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint lisping sound. 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled fan is dangling from the ventilator grate. Looking at his writing here on this page, it's almost impossible to believe that he's gone. Kazuma-sama left us a valuable clue in these words, I'm sure of it. A speckled band. Could it be a hose? We have to solve this mystery, Naruhodo-san. We will. Alright. Let's see, what else is there? We've looked at this. Let's check this out again. So this ventilator joins to Miss Pavlova's cabin. Yes, that's right. And just a few minutes before he died, Kazuma saw something emerging from it. The speckled band, as he described it. If only Miss Pavlova had been able to shed some light on it. But she seemed as baffled as we were. Yes, I wonder if she's telling us everything, though. She is definitely not. She's got secrets. I'm not sure. I know most people aboard would say the same about me, but there was something about that woman that didn't sit right with me. Me too. Alright, what else? We've explored all of this. We could look at this again. This is the shelf that Sasuda arranged. All the books provided for passengers occupying this cabin, neatly arranged on the shelf. Could he have been hit with the trophy? They were all over the place when we first looked around, if you remember. Oh yes, and you tidied them up, didn't you? Yes, she surely did. You have to look after the ship's property. Unruly behavior in the cabins leads to damage. But it really wasn't me who knocked them over. Well, anyway, I feel much better now that they're neatly lined up. I can't relax when things are untidy. Well, this whole room is untidy, so you must be having issues. Alright, well, let's see. Anything over here? We've got his sword, we've got that. We looked at that. Alright. I think the only thing left to look at is, well, the sign, but also the sailor. You, where did you go? Oh, sorry, I just sort of... Why, who gave you permission for this? Well, Seaman Hosonaga did. That knew Japanese, was it? Later, I will roll him into ball and throw him in cold room. They really don't like that. Whew, he's gone back to guarding the door. I hope Inspector Hosonaga doesn't find himself in too much trouble on our account. He's really gone out of his way to help us, hasn't he? When we get back to Japan, we'll have to take him for a steak at Le Carnival. Alright. That could be a very long time from now, Naruhodo-san. Especially if we get thrown in jail for murder. Alright, we still got the sign we can look at, I guess. These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Buria. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. So by bringing her pet on board, Miss Pavlova has broken the rules. She called it her friend, didn't she? Yes, although we don't know what form this friend takes as yet. I'm almost certain that whatever it is, it's inside the traveling case in her cabin. A friend. There's more to this than it seems, I think. Alright, can we look at that, let's look at the post-mortem report. Alright, victim, male, Far Eastern, time of death somewhere between 1 a.m. and a little past 2 a.m. Cause of death, damage to the cervical vertebrae resulting in instant death. The victim's neck was almost certainly broken as a result of a strong blow to the area. No obvious external injuries or traces of poison. Okay, if he instantly died, there's absolutely no way he could have written wardrobe in any kind of ink whatsoever. He'd have been dead. So something is kind of very not right with that. That's something ain't right there. Alright, and then this, what is this? This looks like, I don't know. Well, I don't see anything here necessarily. Alright. Well, we have the diary. I guess we could look at that and see if there's anything else. Nothing else there. That's exactly what she's read. This is not possible. If he died instantly, there's no way that he was able to write this. Something is not right. Can we leave? If we try and leave, are they going to stop us? Makes me wonder. Let's see. If we try and go, can we go out here? We cannot. We shall never be able to enter the cabin with Seaman Stroganoff in the way. We need to get rid of him somehow then. Alright, how can we get rid of him? Look, Naruhodo-san. Seaman Stroganoff has gone. Strong enough? The burly Russian sailor who's always crossing his arms and glaring at us. All these Russian names are impossible to remember. Unless you've eaten beef stroganoff, you know. So there you go. Alright, but we can go in the cabin now, right? Tra-la-la? Who is this? Did you hear that? It sounded like someone singing. Tra-la-la, lira-lira-lay. I did it the great detective way. What? Is that Herlock Sholmes? Miss Caroline, I know that lark-like voice. Well, never mind about that now. This is a golden opportunity for us. Yes, you're right. We must seize it. In we go. Let's get inside Miss Pavlova's cabin while we can and investigate. Definitely, before that stringy knot crewman comes back. It's Stroganoff, not Stringy Knot. Alright, let's go ahead and move quickly. Alright. And of course the case is open. Miss Pavlova isn't back yet. Susada-san, oh, where's she gone? Hey, what are you doing? Those are her private things. There's not a moment to waste, Naruhodo-san. We must investigate as quickly as we can. I suppose you're right, for Kazuma's sake. Alright, she's just gonna pocket the diary. Not just for Kazuma-sama. What do you mean? It can't be long now until we arrive at port in Hong Kong. I don't want you to be in those handcuffs when we get there. Really? She finally believes us? We must solve this case, Naruhodo-san. By ourselves if we have to. I'm glad she finally believes us. Yes, we will. Alright, I am very first thing going to examine this case. Because it is open and empty. Oh my! Miss Pavlova's case is open! It's completely empty inside, but according to the great detective's great deduction, she was hiding her special friend in there. Yes, a friend that she had to keep secret. Because you're not allowed to bring animals aboard the SS Buria. I wonder what kind of animal she had in there. More to the point, where is it now? Exactly, that's what I want to know. Alright, so we gotta explore. Is it in this one, perhaps? Can we look in this one? Let's look in here and see what we got. Naruhodo-san, are you there? Sorry, I'm right here, yes. Why? Oh, good. I thought you might have climbed into the wardrobe when I wasn't looking. There's no place like home. Believe me, I don't have some strange compulsion to jump inside every wardrobe I see, you know. Well, anyway, I'm not sure anyone could fit inside this one. It's full of beautiful outfits. I suppose they're all stage costumes. I was rather hoping we might find Miss Pavlova's friend hiding in there, but no such luck. Alright, we cannot check this. What about the vent? Did her friend climb in the vent? So this ventilator connects Kazuma's cabin next door. Alright. Yes, although what a fool a shipbuilder must be to open a ventilator into another room. Maybe. It's so that if there's a gas leak next door, the occupant of this cabin would notice and raise the alarm. Or the occupants of both cabins would die of gas poisoning. That is a possibility. Anyway, last night Kazuma wrote that he saw a speckled van coming out of this ventilator. Alright, what else do we got? There's this, there's one of these next to the bed in Kazuma's cabin, too. Yes, it's a bell cord. I can't resist. Why did you do that? She barely hesitated there, and she gave it a good tug, too. No, I didn't actually expect anyone to come. We don't want them to. We're trying to investigate in secret. Did you forget this? Alright, let's see. Did we look at this before? Like, her stuff is in disarray as well. All the books have toppled over together. Look, every single one. Do you think that's a god of the sea, perhaps? He's toppled too, though. It's exactly the same as the bookcase next door, in Kazuma's cabin. Perhaps Miss Pavlova was practicing a difficult ballet pose and fell against the bookcase. I don't know. Would she really be practicing ballet on the same night she ran away from her ballet company? Alright then. It must have been you. You lost your temper and knocked them all over in a fit of rage. Not everything bad that happens on this ship is because of me, you know. Well, anyway, I'll set them all straight again in here too. I don't like seeing things in disarray. He's gonna mess with all the evidence. Alright, we can read the rules again, I guess. And then we'll go check over here. Ah yes, they're displayed in this cabin too. Look, the SS Buria's rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. I suppose Miss Pavlova realized that she needed to keep the contents of her case a secret after she read this. Her special friend, I mean. I wonder where her friend has disappeared to now. It's probably having fun exploring the ship, I imagine. I just hope Seaman Stroganoff doesn't find it and throw it overboard. Oh, yes. So do I. Alright. Let's look over here. There is a tray on the floor. I wonder what this little saucer is doing on the floor. Yes, it doesn't look like it's been dropped. More like it was put there deliberately. Ah, do you think there could be a leak in the roof just above here? No. No, I don't. What? A leak? Is this ship quite safe? I'm sure that even if there is a little leak in the roof, it doesn't mean the whole ship is going to sink. No, you're right. Of course you're right. She's really trying to persuade herself, isn't she? I think it was for the pet. Alright. We got a little teapot here. It would seem this teapot is empty. So the natural conclusion is that the Russians are a very thirsty people. Or, because Miss Pavlova only came into this cabin last night, she hasn't had the chance to make any tea yet. I mean, it could be either. It's definitely that they're excessively thirsty. I'd lay 1,001 on it. You're rather obstinate, aren't you, Naruhodo-san? Yes, we are. Alright, we got these hooks. What else do we got? We've got that over there. Okay, so we have the desk. I'm just trying to be thorough. Alright. Is this a trash can? I suppose every cabin has a waste paper basket. Shall we have a little look and see what's been thrown away? Of course we should. Naruhodo-san. It's for etiquette to go sifting through someone's rubbish, you know. Ugh, those eyes. She's looking at me like I'm a piece of rubbish now.
However, these are special circumstances, I think.
Exactly. We have no choice. Alright, what are we gonna find? There's hardly anything in here at all.
Oh, well, that's a little disappointing.
Alright, well, darn it. I was hoping we'd have some evidence of her friend. There are just a few books on the desk, nothing else by the looks of it. Well, Miss Pavlova only ran away from the ballet last night. She's hardly occupied this cabin for any time at all. That's true. I wonder what kind of book she likes to read.
Let me see. Yes, I see. It would seem that Miss Pavlova enjoys reading books written in Russian.
Thanks. I think I probably already knew that.
It's rude to ask too much of people, Norado-san. Kindly remember that.
Alright, we haven't discovered anything. What? I feel like are we missing something? Let's look around thoroughly. I mean, we haven't learned anything except for that her pet is not here. I don't know where the said pet is now. We can't check that bag. Well, alright. This cabin door has the same simple sort of bolted latch that our cabin door has. If the bolt's drawn across, there's no way anyone can enter the cabin from outside.
Yes, it's not a particularly heavy-duty bolt, is it? But still, it wouldn't slide across of its own accord, would it?
No, and the door's made of metal, so there's no chance of trickery using magnets to unbolt it from the outside.
And it seals up perfectly, too, to stop any seawater coming in. So you couldn't use the method you told me of passing a thread through a crack around the closed door, either.
I seem to know a lot of tricks for opening doors. I'm starting to see why they suspect me. Alright, well, I don't think there's anything else here. I think we've explored everything we can. I don't know where we would even go now.
I would never have believed that the Russian gentleman was actually a beautiful ballerina.
Alright, let's go back out to the first class passageway and see. Alright, is he back? Let's see. Well, no, but you're here.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, look!
Or it's Mr. Sholmes. Wow, you never know where he's going to turn up next, do you?
He seems to be stealing a look at something as he sings to himself.
Okay. You're looking at the ship's log. Tra-la-la-la-lira-la-lay. I did it to the great detective way. He's still singing. Do you think he hasn't noticed us?
Or he's simply in extremely high spirits.
Yes, there were times I'm sure you knew, when the yard bit off more than it could chew. And though it's in all, when there was doubt, it's lucky Herlock was about. Excuse me? I solved it all, and I stood tall. I did it the great detective way. What? Mr. Sholmes. Ah, what is it? You want to fight, Honestly, interrupting a fellow when he's singing, and I was just about to reach the climatic finish. Sorry, I thought you were never going to stop, so I figured now is as good a time as any. I very nearly dropped you to the floor with one of my famous right hooks. Alright, I get the picture. Now, did you put those fists away? Little jumpy, are we there?
Mr. Sholmes, you seem to be examining something before we interrupted you.
Ah, yes, that. I was immersed in the study of the ship's log, as penned by the stockily built crewman, who's usually on guard here.
Oh yes, the ship's log.
And did you find out anything useful from it? Well, after 2 a.m. this morning, the majority of the entries are blank. Which means there was nothing to report. Nothing of note happened, so... You truly are a student from the land of the rising sun. You've been utterly blinded by it. Sorry? Your logic, my boy, is inverted.
Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes?
Observe the pages, and all shall become clear. It would seem the same crewman off-stands sentry in the first-class passageway, and he has an almost religious practice of recording. Nothing to report, every half hour. Oh, he writes that in every 30 minutes?
Nothing to report.
Precisely. Put simply, the seaman writes nothing to report, when there's just that. And yet, the ship's log from last night is largely blank. He didn't even write nothing to report.
Do you mean?
There's something to report that he couldn't write? Yes, there were circumstances afoot last night which led to the seaman being absent from his post.
What kind of circumstances? What happened?
That remains a mystery for now. But we can be sure something significant took place.
Was he chasing down the ballerina's pet, I wonder?
So significant that it caused the seaman to forget his regular habit of scribing nothing to report in the log. These are important details. I would stake my life on it. You must log the ship's log in your mental file. Alright, so it's been entered into the court record. It's a record kept by the crew assigned to the first-class cabin area. There are virtually no entries from 2 a.m. until early this morning. Now that deduction was worthy of a great detective. Ah, you're starting to understand what my way is, I see. What makes Sholmes a brilliance. Oh, ouch. What is it? Are you hurt? Oh, don't worry yourself. I seem to be afflicted with a throbbing head this morning for some reason. Nothing more. Everybody is. Was there actually some kind of gas about? Because that's not the first person with a headache today. Well, my friends, until our next encounter. Is there a gas leak? He's still singing to himself. I can hear it as he wanders off down the passageway. Because there's all these little tubes that go to the different cabins. Is something wrong, Sasada-san? You seem lost in thought.
It's just, well, I feel the same.
Sorry?
Ever since I woke up this morning, I've had something of a headache. A sort of continuous throbbing.
Oh, you too? So everybody is got some kind of headache. Alright, we've already got that in the ship's log. What's over here? Anything? Alright, well, where do we go from here? Do we go back to our cabin? Is there anything of interest here? Can we talk to him? Alright, we've already got all that. We've already talked to him. What else can we examine? Anything? Is there anything else that we have missed? Let's look carefully. Anything over here? I think we've pretty much examined this. Alright, let's move back out to the corridor right now. anything else here that we've missed? Let's just make sure before we give up on it entirely. I think we've gotten everything though. All right, so in that case, oops, let's look at the court record. Let's look at the log we just got. Maybe, okay, so nothing to report, nothing to report, nothing to report, nothing to report. I love his name, Biff Stroganoff. Interesting. All right, well, what if we go back to her cabin? Is there anything there? Ding-a-ling-a-ling.
Oh, what's that?
We got all kinds of alarm bells going off. What is going on? Shut down the engines immediately. Vessel sighted a quarter mile forward. Full stop. Hard to starboard. All hands, brace for impact. Okay, let's see. What the?
I think we're about to crash into another ship.
What? Okay, so the ship is tilting.
I can't stand.
Susato-san. Ah, they're falling. Everything's falling. I bet you the books are going to be all messed up. Susato-san, are you all right? Are you injured at all?
I think I'm fine. Thank you, Naruhodo-san.
Look, they're all, it's all askew again. It looks like we've avoided a collision.
I think.
Yes, the ship has come to a stop.
Oh my goodness. What about you, Naruhodo-san? Are you hurt?
No, I'm fine. Uh-oh. Hello? Is anybody in there? Shout if you need assistance. Oh, that sounds like...
Inspector Hosonaga.
Is that you there? Naruhodo-san, unbolt the door, quickly. So the door bolted on itself when the ship tilted. Interesting. Okay, so I bet the one in our cabin bolted itself too. The door's bolted. Did you do that, Susato-san?
No, I didn't touch it.
Well, that's strange. How did... And look at all the books. They're just like they were before again.
Naruhodo-san, aren't you going to open the door and let the inspector in?
Of course, of course. I better tidy this place up first, okay? All right. Our violent emergency stop had solved one mystery at least in a very vivid way, but I knew that what awaited us on the other side of the cabin door would not be pleasant. I hurried around tidying up the cabin with a new sense of foreboding in my heart, which is going to be very interesting since we're doing it in handcuffs. To be continued. All right. Well, it seems that is going to we're going to end a little early. I think that was a good stopping point. So what are our current theories? So okay, so it could be the speckled band could be a snake, right? Maybe like a boa constrictor. If there's no poison, maybe it's like strangled him. But then why didn't it eat him? So I don't know. Maybe not a snake. Was it poison gas? I think we know why the books tilted, because there was another avoidance of a ship. So maybe this whole thing wasn't a murder at all. Maybe it was completely an accident and he bumped his head and snapped his own neck somehow. I don't know. But we will explore more in the next episode. So if you enjoy this kind of content, please make sure to like, subscribe, follow, share, all that good stuff. If you want to watch live, we're on Twitch at twitch.tv/LR27. I have my schedule posted in the about and in the description. And if you want to see which games I'll be playing each day, I post them on twitter.com/LR27. And I hope you'll join me in the next one, guys. Until then, bye.